Listen here, Steve Austin, I am the Devastator.
Okay, we've got some people that are watching this because Resident Evil's got 3 views. I'm 1.
Okay.
So we've got 2 people that have watched at some point.
That carried along with us the devastation of Transform. All I can think of is just keep saying, devastation. Okay. So, alright. Eric, we are back.
Wait, no,
just
we're
went
not.
into it.
No,
we're not back.
I know.
No,
because I'm not.
No.
I can't see it on my page yet.
But what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen to the devastation? Hasbro? Just reading words off the TV now. Activision, Eric. I thought it was.
I'm not seeing it.
It says on air. Oh, okay, cool. I mean, we want to make sure we're started at least, so that's good. Devastation!
Let's see if I can hear me. Activision, Eric. Says on air.
Oh, someone's watching. Who's that person? Is it Eric?
What's gonna happen to the devastation? Activision, Eric. Says on air. I'm trying to see if I can even
listen to yourself. I'll be quiet.
Alright. So, how do I catch up live on this thing? Hang on. Almost ready. Trying to just get to where it's actually live.
I'm just laughing at my echo of a voice saying stupid things.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'm gonna close it and restart it just because.
Well, you do that.
Okay. Alright, so now we are actually back.
Alright, we are back with our second part of our Games and Gimmicks podcast, the PlayStation Plus Games of the Month, October 2016 here. And we're here with Transformers Devastation.
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 Devastating form of, I don't know.
Of forming, just reforming from cars.
Game 2 of our free games with a PlayStation Plus membership, and we're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do.
Yes, we're going to talk about this game. To start off, really, in general, like, what a, nice little piece of work to, for any fan of the classic cartoon series and everything there, too. I wasn't personally, to be honest, when I was a kid. I didn't really watch it. It was a kind of little...
I was not either. I was not a Transformers kid. I just didn't have it in my life, so I've never been into Transformers, really. Ever.
Right.
So, yeah. New world for me. I was thinking Power Rangers when I see Transformers, because when I see those machines, I just think of Zords.
Right.
That's what I think of.
So, this game really kind of felt like it... when you think about the series and everything there too, it's been popular over the last few years. Everything is kind of, with the movies and everything there too, it pretty much is sort of a staple now. As long as Michael Bay is still allowed to continue to make movies, then we're good. We'll see Transformers movies all the time. But this rendition of this game is pretty much more or less like a nice piece of work for fans who probably watched the cartoons when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would agree.
We got classic voices here. We got this nice cel-shaded view. We got really, really kind of good feeling attack moves and things like that too. Like the combat feels really good in this game too. I don't know. How did you feel about it, Eric?
Yeah, it will completely. The exact opposite of Resident Evil in terms of pacing.
yeah, right?
High pace, high octane type of game. What I found of at first was, especially with the cell shading and all that, this type of style, it made me think of, I think it was back in 2003 or something like that. Remember when they originally like relaunched Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
And they made a PS2 game that had this cell shading kind of a art style to it. So
and it
it's
wasn't
immediately what I thought of.
And that game wasn't really like amazing either, too. But it was kind of like the cool first time we got to see like, oh, they're like gonna try to revive these things again.
Yeah, and I like the style. I like the art, how it looks. It makes you feel like, yeah, you're playing in a cartoon.
Right, yeah, and it feels like it looks like a little comic book, yeah, like exactly a cartoon itself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like I'm surprised at like the way the game plays itself. Like I didn't feel too confounded. Now I chose a higher difficulty when I started the game, which I honestly regret doing. Because
I noticed that. Yeah.
Some of the parts got really, really like the game was like almost punishing you for how you played, and you know what?
Pay for choosing this.
Right, whenever the games sort of do that, it means that, like, the way that they ratcheted up the difficulty when they designed this game wasn't really, like, it wasn't really well thought out, is usually what I think. Like, it's always just like, well, let's just infuriate the player a little bit more, you know? Like, that's how it feels to me when I'm playing it sometimes. But that's usually only during, like, the really bigger boss fights that occur in this game. So I guess, you know, if I were to describe what this game is about, it's Megatron comes down and decides he befriended some sort of ancient thing on the planet Earth that also is going to kill all the people. And you're, you know, with Optimus Prime and some of the other classic people, and you're running around and killing bad guys, basically.
Bad robots, bad Transformers.
The Decepticons, as they're called, I guess. So I had a lot of fun with this game overall. I feel like it could sometimes get a little too complicated for me. Like I felt like I wasn't hitting the combos right, or I didn't feel like I was dodging correctly sometimes there too. Did you feel like that was kind of like it was a little hard to time the dodge mechanism thing?
I didn't have it on the harder difficulty like you did. I kept it on the regular. Speaking of that, I really like how they had the descriptor instead of just like easy, medium, hard. They had like a little descriptor of like you're like if you like to play this kind of game, if you like to do that kind of game. I like how I like that. So they should incorporate that in a lot of other games. I struggled with the combos. I had a hard time trying to figure that out, or not figure it out per se, but get the timing right. So I definitely struggled with the different control features and things that it had. So, and to be completely honest, I didn't play this game for too long because I kind of got a little bored after a little while. And
it's a little casual
because I think again, not being a Transformers fan, I didn't get hooked too much. So I played for a little bit, and then I just kind of called it go. Like I think I've had enough, and just kind of moved on. So I didn't get as much gameplay as I usually do with these games. But,
and that's you know, if you think about it, it is like if you're not necessarily the biggest fan of this series, it's going to be hard to want to stay committed to playing it the entire time. I feel that way too because I do think that ultimately is this game going to end up staying on my PlayStation in the long run. Well, maybe if I beat it, you know, that I might keep it until I beat it. But you know, I do sort of regret picking the difficulty that I did, but I'm also like, maybe it'll keep me playing it just a teensy bit more. Just to give you an idea here, though, too, like, the people that made this game were Platinum Games, which I don't know if you know, they made, like, they made a few really good fighting games more recently, basically exactly like this style. Do you remember Bayonetta? Yeah, like they made that game, and they made a lot of other games like that, and they made this game. So it feels kind of like one of those games.
Yeah.
Like you run into an area, beat a bunch of bad guys, and then move on to the next, story point. But yeah, there are other elements where you can actually like customize your characters and stuff like that too. You can pick up a bunch of stuff and like get new weapons, and you can switch between Optimus Prime and a few other characters, I believe. So if you know the series, I think you're going to really enjoy this game.
Right. I would agree with that also.
So yeah, I think ultimately we're going to say in terms of this game, and if we had to compare between the two games that at least us personally, I'd give this one a shot. Yeah, I think you should definitely give this game a shot. I think it's easy enough for anybody to really enter into watching and playing this game. So, give it a shot. You'll have some fun. It's a really good brawler, like a beat 'em up hack and slash sort of game. Yeah, you think the same thing there too, man?
I think the same thing. Give it a shot. Yep. Of the games you get to choose between this month, if I were to somehow just pick one, I would absolutely go with this one. Nevertheless,
awesome.
Follow our motto: add both games to your library, even if you don't intend on playing them.
Yes.
That way you have them in case you ever need something to play. You want to try something different. Just load up on them. It's like there were times where. Even with the previous month's PS Plus games, it's like we get behind and we forget, but it's good that we still add them to our library so we can check it out later. So always a good rule of thumb to follow.
Right. I think if you're looking for something fun and basically easy to play this month, I did see some announcements for the next games of the Gimmicks, games for next month, but. I think we'll leave that to the next podcast and everything here too as well. So so that's this month for October we give Resident Evil. Don't give it a shot unless you're a big Resident Evil fan and you really want to play those games. And for Transformers Devastation, we say give it a shot.
That sounds right to me.
Awesome. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. I mean, this might be one of our shorter podcasts, to be honest, but that's totally cool.
It's not too deep, but that's okay.
Yeah.
For coming up in the future, we do have Hell in a Cell coming up this Sunday. And we unfortunately have to watch that. We are going to review that one, so we will have a review show for Hell in a Cell. Face of Foley is probably going to join us for that.
Woo!
He's on duty to watch Hell in a Cell, so he's going to watch it as well. What might make it somewhat entertaining is it is in Boston, and Boston's usually a good crowd, so at least we'll get some good crowd responses with it. So stay tuned for a review show for Hell in a Cell coming up in the next week.
Awesome. So thanks again for joining us, and feel free to subscribe to our podcast. That's on gamesandgimmicks.com. We're on iTunes, Podomatic. We're on YouTube, Twitter. Feel free to look us up, and feel free to send us a comment or two or anything there too, and like our page. So thanks again for joining us.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
That's awesome. Good.